So, who are the poor in our country? Which means we need to look at some of the myths about poverty in it. Now, let's take a look at who's poor in this country. The truth is, many Americans think that most of the poor people in this country are Black. In fact, the majority of poor people in this country are white, 43%. Black people make up 23%, Asian 5%, and Hispanic 29%. By age, 44% of all people are either children or elderly. The largest number of poor households are families with other people living with them, and the next largest are single people. Single parents actually only make up 12% of the poor. 1/3 of all the adults who are in poverty are working at the same time. And almost 20%, 19% of all of the American poor are people with a disability. So it's important to understand exactly what these percentages mean, what they're telling us. And this can be a bit tricky. So let's make it simple, and we're going to imagine 3 groups. Group A has 100 people. Group B is a lot smaller, that only has 50 people, and Group C only has 10 people. And here we've got them on a chart, Group A, Group B, Group C. 100 people, 50, 10, there's 160 people in all. And the number of people who are in that group who are poor are 25 of Group A is poor, 10 people in Group B are poor, and 5 people in Group C are poor. So there's a total of all 160 people, 40 of them are poor. So if we look at the total poor, the 40 people, 63% are Group A, 25% are Group B, and 12% are Group C of all the poor. But if we look at within each group, the percentage who are poor, only 25% of Group A are poor, 20% of Group B are poor, and a whopping 50% of Group C are poor. So most simply, the greatest percentage of all the poor people in the United States are white. However, Black and Hispanic groups in the U.S. have the greatest percentage of people in poverty within their group. What? That's because there are so many more white people than any other group in the U.S. It's just like Group A. Even though a smaller percentage of all white people are poor, they still make up the majority of all poor people in total. So let's do some math. We're going to look at the total number of poor people in the United States, which is 37 million. Now, a lot of poor people we don't expect to work, like the 11 million children, or the 5.8 million elderly, or the 4 million disabled. They are not groups we are expecting to work. So of the 37 million, 20,900,000 are not expected to be working. So that leaves 16 million working age, non-disabled poor people. Of these 16,100,000 poor people, 7,100,000 are already working full-time or part-time. So of all the working age, non-disabled people who are poor, 45%, almost half of the poor non-disabled adults in this country, almost half, are already working.